Why does time seem to go faster as you get older? There are a few theories for this. One of the prevalent ones is that as we age, each year is a smaller percentage of how much we have lived. One of the others, that I think is strongly linked to it, is that our brains prioritize new experiences over routines and repeated things. The older you get, the more things you have done, and typically the less new stuff is happening. It's one of the reasons the pandemic time seemed in retrospect to zoom by. Because so much of it was so much the same day to day. So if you want time to seem longer, prioritize doing new things, making new experiences happen. My theory: when someone turns 6, life feels long because you've lived 6 parts. Years. The new 6-year-old has lived another 1/6 of his/hers life. Now imagine someone that has turned 80 years old. A year was just 1/80th added to his life. Feels pretty short to him/her. The more years you live, that faster life feels. The fraction gets shorter as you add more years to your life. 6 months is still 6 months, but for a 1-year-old that is half their life, and for a 30-year-old is less than 2%. Your brain is a living computer, and as you get older, data is being compressed. I DK if it's just me, but the older I get, the more depressed I am. Just grinding jobs for years and years with no light at the end of the tunnel and nothing to look forward to. Just going through the motions in a malaise, and time just passes by. I think as a kid, when you have spring break or summer break to look forward to, you're always looking at the date and counting down the days. The same way watching a clock all day makes the day go by slower. Looking at a calendar all the time would make the month go by slower. Once you start working full-time, it's the start of the end, and time just passes by like a fart in the wind. A lot of it is because there's less novelty, fewer memorable events and discoveries to mark the passage of times. Find more novelty, do something new, cultivate a hobby, go on a vacation, and time will feel like it's slowing more. That can be hard to do when you're older and working and keeping up on responsibilities. Though I've always been of the opinion that it has to do with the percentage of that time related to the length of your life. If you're 10, 1 year is 10% of your life. If you're 100, it's only 1%. You don't make new experiences. You often do not have any life milestones anymore. Life just flies by. It's all perspective. The longer you spend doing something, i.e. living, the less significant those parts become. 6 years old means 6 years equals entire life. 60 years old means 6 years equals 1/10 of your life. Have to wait 1 hour to go to park? Seems much longer to someone who's only lived 1,000 hours versus someone who's lived 10,000 hours. Works the same way even as an adult. You blank on days because they are no longer 1 in 100, but 1 in 100,000. Routine becomes insignificant and too dull to remember. Go to work? 3 hours until the end of the day may seem like forever. Watching sports? 3 hours may fly by. Why? Because in sports every second counts. At work? Not much you can accomplish in 10 seconds. It's all about the significance of your actions during that time allotted. It's that as we age, a year becomes a smaller fraction of our entire lives up to that point. A year for a 5-year-old is 1/5, or 20%, of their life so far. But a year to a 50-year-old is 1/50th of their life, or 2% of it. So it seems to pass 10 times faster. I'm 37. Been traveling for a while and I have lost all concept of time. I've lived many lifetimes in a couple of years, and before that, when I was working, my life was flying by and I felt like I was on a fast track to old age. question if time didn't exist as a concept. Minutes and hours had never been invented. Is it possible you can experience a longer life compared to someone counting the minutes and years? I always assumed it was because I am just busier, with more things to think about, worry about fixing, and progress. When I go on vacation that is meant to be lazy, time goes by so slowly because I'm just hanging out. That is why it's always important to take breaks from life itself and just let yourself be for a period of time, if you can, even for just a few hours. Just do nothing. I think we just tend to get caught up with work responsibilities that we didn't have when we were younger, thus consuming more of our time. I think my brain is broken or something. I hear this all the time. But I'm coming up on 30 and time is passing very slowly. 'Cause you've collected so much of it already. If you had none, and got a little, it'd seem like a hell of a lot. But if you had lots, and got a little, well, wouldn't seem like much at all. It's because your brain operates on patterns. When you're young, you haven't experienced much of life, so it takes a lot of cognitive energy to process everything. When you're older, you've experienced a lot, so your brain doesn't process it as extensively. Same logic as if you go for a hike. The way there seems to take longer and the way back seems relatively quick, even though it's the same distance. Your brain has already seen all the sights, so it kind of ignores them the second time around. To combat this, do new things, experience new sights, learn new skills. Because you relax and we get less troubled in situations, and we already made most experiences, so they pass quite quickly. Imagine you sit in a waiting room for a doctor appointment. You will be stressed, scared, and those 30 minutes can feel like days. Well, trust me, for a 60-plus-year-old, those 30 minutes felt like they just sat down and must stand up again, so it's normal, but trust me, you will enjoy it even if it passes quicker, because we learn to appreciate things with age. Hopefully. And also without thinking about too many things, so our focus is at the human part. Winking face. Busier. Repetition. When you're newborn till you're done with school, your brain is constantly bombarded with new info, be it school, experiences, locations, etc. When you start your 9 to 5, most people do the same routine every day, like work, gym, dinner, TV, sleep. That's when you get the days just seems run by so fast feeling. Try going back to school full-time as a 30-plus-year-old after working full-time for years, and you'll feel like the days go by in slow motion while at school. Relativity. When you are 5, your entire experience of time has been those 5 years. So an hour is forever, because relative to the rest of your life, it is. When you are 40, months fly by and an hour is gone in a blink. Because relative to you, 40 years of time, an hour or a week is nothing. You experience more new things as a kid. The less new experiences you have, the faster it seems. Doesn't 2020 seem like an extremely short year? Because all the time at home in the same scenery blended together.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.